I've been called many things in social media over the years. Liberal lefty, libtard, melt. This goes on and on. Remoner. Uh, it is astonishing the amount of names I've been called in social media by typical keyboard warriors. And it's interesting because you get to thinking, why are the right wing so obsessed with calling you a libtard when you just question a simple point? They don't have a fact to come back on. It's just immediately insults. And it's not just an opinion. It's been, from my experience, been proven quite often. You make a comment stating, please provide the fact on this because A, B, C, and D. And then the comment back is libtard or bleeding heart lefty, or um, you just want to have migrants take over. And it's quite astonishing that people being called out can't back up their points with facts and just jump to insults. That shouldn't be surprising if you see the state of affairs in the rest of the world, with the orange one consistently calling people names. There's the famous Sleepy Joe, and then there's now my new favorite one, the Marjorie Taylor Brown, which doesn't even make sense. And if you have to explain the joke, it just doesn't make sense. Um, or Gavin Newsom. I'm waiting for one for Keir Starmer, by the way. That's going to be an interesting one that comes out. Not Winston Churchill is not a great um, nickname, by the way. Then we have Farage coming out with the same playbook now, not as direct as Trump, but also quite insulting and very combative against the media when questioned for facts. And then you realize that they don't have a leg to stand on. Because if you bring up past things that they've said, it's all fake news, or it's the media, the liberal media is trying to um, go away from the actual problems. So let's look at the actual problems, which we liberal lefties, or as the right likes to call us, libtards, bring up. So migration. Yes, in the UK, there is an issue with migrants coming across on small boats. I'm not going to say no about that. That is a fact. It's true. But what brought this on? It wasn't there in 2017, 2018, 2019. There was this one thing that I clearly remember happening. Oh, yes, the Farage boats, Brexit, because of the Dublin Agreement. Then we look at wealth inequality and the cost of living crisis. We've seen this demonizing of migrants. We've seen this demonizing of people on benefits. But then you realize, when you look at it from a wider, broader perspective, actually, the money is just siphoning up. It's not trickle-down economics. Trickle-down economics never works. The best example of trickle-down economics not working and causing a massive hiccup in the world was Liz Truss's mini budget, which crashed the economy. And we're still living with the impact from that. And that was tax cuts for the rich, cutting benefits, and then making sure, and then saying that the money will siphon down. The money never comes down. Why is it that there's more billionaires now and the world is poorer? Why is it that people are struggling all across just the UK to pay bills, and the rich are leaving the country to go and live in Dubai or somewhere else to evade taxes that they should be paying? And then when you say they're going to be taxed, then the right-wing media, Daily Mail, Daily Express, The Sun, suddenly jumps on the bandwagon and say, oh, we're losing all of these people. Well, then let them get lost. Tax their assets. It's really easy. But when you point this out to the right wing, we're called libtards. But let's go to the time when they want the UK to return to 1950s, 1960s, around about there. The tax rate on the ultra wealthy was way more than it was now. There was actually money being invested into social programs, the NHS. We went on a massive building spree for social housing, for council housing. What got rid of that? Right-wing politics, Margaret Thatcher, selling off council housing, privatizing public sector utilities, water, electricity, the trains. So now, what does this prove to us? Well, it shows that the right wing is only there to enrich their personal donors. They don't think about normal people. Don't get me started on Labour at the moment with their fixation on benefit cuts and cutting foreign aid. That's just ridiculous. They're doing this to appease the reform vote. Don't appease the right wing. They're never going to be happy. They're always going to find something to complain about. If you're not racist or fascist or sexist enough, they won't be happy. Just look at the rise of Restore. People are upset with Nigel Farage and Reform, an ultra right-wing party. And don't let him go around saying he's not right-wing. He's an ultra right-wing, close to wanting to be a fascist party. And that's not right-wing enough for people. So they go to Restore and towards Tommy Robinson. So that shows you that they will never be happy because there needs to be hatred in their hearts. There needs to be an anger towards this elusive dream that they think they have. Now, you may disagree, but why is that? Why are they always so upset? People are always going on about the woke left and the purple-haired screaming SJWs. But I've seen more right-wingers needing safe spaces than anywhere else. And all they can come back with is violence and direct insults. Now, don't get me wrong, I think the woke brigade has gone way overboard. And a lot of times they don't help themselves by being so the typical purple hairish or blue hair media influencer type. That doesn't help. Because that the right wing grabs that and then shows that as all liberals. And that defeats the cause. But if you just go and step a little bit back, you would find that most people are not roundabout painters or flag hangers or dyeing our hair purple or blue or whatever color suits us to go and cry about, I don't know, my coffee was not soy latte. A lot of people believe in social justice. A lot of people believe in fair taxation. A lot of people believe in social safety nets. But who pushes that narrative that that is bad? Go have a look at who pushes that narrative. It's always the same lot. It's always the media conglomerates, Daily Mail, Express, Telegraph, pushing this benefit scroungers idea, but never talking about how the rich has gotten richer beyond their wildest dreams. They never talk about how Brexit negatively impacted the economy, how freedom of movement, when that got stopped, created this stagnation we're in at the moment. Because it wasn't just freedom of movement, it was freedom of trade. How difficult is it to understand basic concept of trade? You put a barrier up, you have to go through the barrier. You have to follow the procedures to go through the barrier. There was no barrier prior to Brexit. Now there's a barrier. So I'm a proud libtard, lefty, melt, whatever you want to call me. Because if it means that you call me that because I am opposed to sexism, misogynistic behavior, racism, fascist behavior, that I believe in taxing the rich, then so be it. You can call me that every day. Just know that you've lost the high ground when you want to call me that and you can't come up with facts. And the fact of the matter is, you're being lied to if you believe in reform, or in the Conservative Party, or in MAGA, or the AFID, or Le Pen, or Maloney. Just have a think. Ciao, ciao.